Hey there, fellow foodies and health enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into a topic that's got everyone from gym goers to grannies buzzing: the impact of protein on our aging process. Now, you might have heard that protein is the new black, with protein powders, yogurt, and snack bars lining every aisle of the supermarket. But what if I told you that eating less protein could be the secret to a longer, healthier life? Let's explore this intriguing idea and see if it's just hype or a scientific breakthrough. First things first, let's talk about protein. It's like the superhero of nutrients, made up of amino acids and found in all sorts of foods. From legumes and nuts to fish, eggs, and lean meat, protein is essential for building and repairing our bodies. Australian dietary guidelines recommend that around 15 to 25% of our daily energy should come from protein, and most Aussies are already meeting these recommendations. Now, the new study we're looking at brings together evidence from animal and human studies to understand how restricting protein, and specific amino acids, influences the biology of aging. The results? Eating less protein changes the way our bodies use energy, helps cells get rid of damaged components, and reduces the buildup of aging cells. In other words, it's like a biological fountain of youth. But here's the catch: the strongest evidence comes from laboratory animals. Mice, rats, flies, and yeast all showed signs of healthier aging when fed lower protein diets. However, it's important to note that these animals live in tightly controlled environments, where researchers can precisely manipulate their diets over their entire lifespan. In humans, things are a bit more complicated. Human evidence is still limited, and the picture becomes much more nuanced. Higher protein diets can help preserve muscle mass, especially in older adults, and when combined with resistance exercise, can reduce the risk of frailty and sarcopenia. Eating more protein can also help people feel fuller for longer, making it useful for managing weight in those who are living with obesity. However, people don't eat protein in isolation. They eat food. For example, eating a lot of legumes and nuts will give you protein alongside fiber, healthy fats, and other nutrients. But if you have a high-protein diet that comes mainly from red and processed meat, you may also be eating a lot of saturated fats and salt. Large studies have linked eating a lot of animal protein, particularly red and processed meat, with worse health and early death. But these studies can't prove protein itself is responsible. This is why it's difficult to separate the effects of protein itself from the foods providing it, or someone's overall diet. The other factors may explain why some findings about protein seem to conflict. Now, let's talk about longevity. Research into long-living populations shows that focusing on one nutrient alone may miss the bigger picture. The Mediterranean diet, for example, has the strongest evidence for healthy aging, but it's not low in protein. It contains moderate amounts of protein from legumes, fish, and nuts, alongside plenty of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and olive oil, while limiting red and processed meat. By comparison, the traditional Okinawan diet from Japan, which is also associated with healthy aging, contains relatively little protein. But it emphasizes plant foods like sweet potato and tofu and is low in calories. Both diets are associated with living longer, showing that isolating protein alone may miss the bigger picture. So, should you eat less protein? Not based on this review. While the study explains how protein restriction might affect aging in laboratory animals, it highlights how much we still don't know about how this might translate into dietary advice for humans. The relationship between protein and longevity is far more nuanced than simply less is better. For now, the strongest evidence still supports meeting current protein recommendations, particularly as we age. Rather than chasing the latest nutrition headline, aim to choose mostly minimally processed protein foods as part of an overall healthy diet. Remember, longevity is shaped by much more than diet. Regular physical activity, good sleep, strong social connections, managing stress, and not smoking all reduce our risk of dying early. So, while protein might be important, it's just one piece of the puzzle. In my opinion, the key takeaway here is that we need to look at the bigger picture when it comes to nutrition. While protein might be important, it's not the only factor that determines our health and longevity. So, let's keep an open mind and listen to our bodies, rather than blindly following the latest trends. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video insightful. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content.